Casey Anthony has started a TikTok and a Substack, and she's ready to advocate for herself, for us, and for Kaylee. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Psh, that's not a sofa. Psh, that's not even the normal place I'm at, and that would be correct. I hope everybody's doing well today. My name is Paul, if you are new to the channel, and if you're not new to the channel, guess what? My name still is Paul. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is this is kind of like a breaking news, if you will, at least when I'm filming it. It's going to probably be the next day by the time you see this. What we're talking about is Casey Anthony, top mom, Kaylee Anthony's mother. Very infamous case that took place a while ago, but nonetheless, Casey Anthony still lives in infamy. Now, Casey Anthony has never been convicted. She did go to trial. She was found not guilty. She, walked away from most of the serious charges in relations to the death of her little baby Kaylee. So we really only hear about Casey in the headlines and the tabloids, things of this nature. Well, she started a TikTok. Okay. Now, she did like a 4-minute long video, which we're getting ready to watch, kind of introducing what she's doing and what it's for. And then she started a Substack. So, yeah. Okay. What we're going to do is this. We're going to watch the TikTok. We're going to talk about it along the way. And then we're going to look at like another post that she did and talk about that. So let's just go ahead and jump into it.
Sweat to death. Okay. We're sweat to death. Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done.
Okay, so there you have it. That's obviously Casey Anthony. A couple of things with that right there. So, she's a legal person. Yes, we know that she's been doing stuff for the lawyers and whatnot that worked for her at one point, and she's kind of done that. So one thing with this that I question immediately is like, what's the purpose of it? Now, she's going to tell us what the purpose is, but also there's a certain level of, that there's an insane amount of infamy around your name and an insane amount of scandal. So to come out and want to kind of like do a rebrand, if you will, because that's kind of what this feels like, under the guise of like, I'm going to help people and do this and do that, it seems odd, right? You can already imagine what people's first thoughts are going to be and what their questions are going to be. So here, now again, I don't obviously know Casey Anthony personally, so, again, I don't know her, right? She seems very serious, and she seemed this way too when we saw her in the docu-series that she did for Peacock, I think it was, the most recent one, where she kind of like doubled down and said her dad did it. This almost feels like she's kind of convinced herself, like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm sticking to this story. Like, she seems like a very determined person when she wants something and puts her mind to it, good or bad, like, she's going to make it happen, right? And that's what I'm getting with this. Like, she's gassed herself up for it.
The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity. My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to.
I think one thing that this is going to do, depending on what the true motivation is, so for example, where she just said to give voices to people and things like that, you already know, just imagine with that one statement right there what people might say in the comment section, right? Now, spoiler alert, number one, the comments in the TikTok are already turned off at this point. Now they could be back on, but on our Substack, they are turned on, and yeah, she's fighting for her life in those comment sections. Completely ballsy, right? Even leaving them on, okay? Like, I'm like, seriously? Like, Okay. A lot of people, a majority of people are going to come at it in that context of, what about your daughter's voice? What about her? That whole thing right there. Okay. Because regardless of what she might want to do, whatnot, whatever, a majority of people view Casey Anthony as someone that got away with unaliving her child, right? I know she was found not guilty. The court of public opinion, however, did not go her way. Okay. So to do any kind of anything really after that is going to be a hard sell, because people just feel like, you know what, you did the unthinkable, right? So we don't care what you have to say. This is, time stopped at that event for the public, and then probably stopped again when the not guilty verdict came through.
So with that, please join me on Substack. If you have questions, I will set up an email address where we can correspond directly. Up until this point, that has never happened.
Okay, so now we're getting into like the ask, the sell, right? Join me on Substack. I'll set up an email. We can correspond. So you already know. What do you think the first thing's going to be? Well, I want to ask her if she did it. I want to ask her this. I want to say this. I want to say that. We'll get to the monetization part here in a minute.
And it's only going to be on a limited basis regarding legal issues, legal matters. One of the main reasons that I'm doing this, there are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included. So as a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
Okay. So, couple of things. Something, according to what she said, let's sum up. Something's happened to somebody that she knows, and she needs to step up to the plate and whatever, right? This isn't right. I'm going to do whatever. Okay. So when she said the part about this been thrust upon me or whatever, okay, again, this is like taking the temperature. So my immediate thought with that was, you created that though, right? But again, this is on the assumption of like the opinion of thinking like she did what, she did something to Kaylee, okay? Again, she was found not guilty in the courts. So that's where I see this back and forthness with this. It's like her side is coming from this level of, I am innocent, or I didn't do this, whatever you want to say, and I'm going in this direction. Whereas a huge amount of the public is like, no, we don't believe that. We don't think that. We think you got a loophole basically in the judicial system, right? A fluke and that type thing, whatever, right? So that's the part where it kind of falls on deaf ears or whatever, is that. Now, again, this whole dynamic of being willing to open this dialogue and speak and email, and it has to stick to legal matters and whatnot. Brave. Okay.
With that, these aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be edited. Most of the time, they're not going to be short. But I am proverbially standing in the light, embracing this piece, still going to keep my privacy intact. So you will get very comfortable with my car. And I will explain in great detail why it's so important for people to protect their privacy. It's not just important to public figures, it's even more important to private individuals. And with the current climate in our country especially, it's that much more important, which is why I am utilizing the Substack platform. Yes, I am advertising this and publishing this on TikTok, possibly also through other meta platforms, but my intention is to separate from that and showcase even more why Substack is such an important resource for people to utilize moving forward. Anyway, I appreciate your time, and we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how this goes. Yeah, we will, right? So again, overall thoughts on this are this. So number one, the way that social media works, okay, at least right now, at least in America, I don't know about other places, is based on an algorithm. And whatever seems to trigger the algorithm makes you more popular, okay? So a lot of people have figured out that they can go online and do crazy stuff to get a reaction. And this will make you go viral, make you do things, and get you attention, and get you your 5 minutes. And then what you choose to do with that 5 minutes is up to you, right? So if you have a business set up waiting over here, if you want to, if you got the personality to pull it off and you want to be like a, influencer, whatever, right? Everyone almost has a chance these days to have that 5 minutes, then what you do with it. So this is my thought process. She's doing the Substack thing. We're going to talk about that in a second, but she's being kind of evasive. Like, it's like, this, I'm standing up for rights and this and that and privacy and whatever, but she's not saying too much here. She admits, yes, I am publishing this, talking about privacy, but we're on TikTok and Meta and all these things. She's, obviously you have to do like a subscription, whatever the monetization part is on Substack. So this just gets the word out there. I mean, I'm here talking about it, right? This is probably, I think at this point, gone incredibly viral. Most of her stuff does. Most of her headlines always do. There is a morbid curiosity about her with the public, right? And so it's almost like she's going to capitalize on that instead of everybody else. Now, whether she has something authentic to say or not, I have no idea, right? I don't know enough about what she has to say. I don't know enough about her legal expertise that she's been doing over the last several years and whatnot. I've only seen her in this very salacious type things. Dating, moving to Tennessee, breaking up a marriage. Obviously the Kaylee Anthony situation, the docuseries she did where she doubled down on her parents again. These type things. So this is a fresh look for Casey as far as, for me. Doesn't mean I, am like here for it. No, right? I personally think that, there's two ways to look at it. There's reality where I'm like, she probably needs money. Okay. Like, and she's just like doing what she's got to do to make money. Right. That's personally what I think. Okay. Secondly, the whole dynamic of if you were going to do, and again, I don't really know what her expertise is, if it's just from the work, I don't know. But if you were going to do that and truly wanted to do that, you could probably do it behind the scenes without putting your face out there to take away from the negative publicity that she will bring to whatever her cause is, okay? Now, she did another TikTok, and what I'm going to do is, I'll put it on the screen, but I'm going to look at it on my phone because my eyes don't work anymore, and I can't see it. So let me just put it on the screen and we'll read through it. So you'll see on the screen here, I'm just going to read from my phone. It says, Casey Anthony, it's been more than 16 years since my name became a household one. Everyone seems to have an opinion about me and my life. I'm an advocate, a researcher, and then it, continues. And then we see this little, repost that she did beneath that from Carl Dunn, talking about the internet's making us hate people we don't even know, log off, go out, talk to a real person. I mean, yes, basically touch grass, and I get it, right? So that part at least. On the next thing here, it says, she's doing this whole post. So it says there's many fake accounts in my name and the name of my daughter are simply to spread hatred, being labeled as a boycott account. It says I have intentionally limited the public statements that I've made, my exposure to the media, my exposure to the world of social media, as we have all grown accustomed. My accounts have only ever been private. Today my account goes live. Video content will be available by paid subscription. Okay, remember that. Public service information will be available on my profile here on Substack. And if shared to other accounts, such as Mastodon or Blue Sky, will be directly linked. I'm an advocate and a researcher. I have spent the last decade and a half working in that capacity. And now, more than ever, people deserve to know what resources they can turn to and to be reminded that they still have rights. This is my only account posting original content. I have never had a public account before, nor have I interacted with the public on a public forum. I welcome you to join me, keep an open mind, and allow me to properly reintroduce myself. My name is Casey Anthony. Okay, so again, paid subscription. So there's that. Now, again, it's just my theory that she needs money, right? I mean, I don't know how she's stayed above water this whole time, okay? Now, on her Substack, and I'm going to be careful with this because, so I have a Substack that I wanted to start. I love writing. If you're unfamiliar with Substack, it's basically, to me, like, I don't know much about it, but it's like a place of almost like journals and doing that kind of thing, like deeper thoughts and whatnot. I thought about doing it for, reporting live, but I can barely keep up with Instagram and all that too. So, I said, we'll do that later. Okay. That being said, her thing here, again, it's she's fighting for life in the comments. I mean, the comment section all over her Substack is just her arguing with people, and not really arguing, but like pointing out to people, because there's like literally unaliving threats to her, people calling out this and the other, whatever, shutting her down, so on and so forth. And so she's going into like, well, how can I prove my, not my innocence, but what happened to me? This is this, also telling people, when you do these, I hope you unalive yourself threats and stuff like that, that it can, it can come back on you, kind of a thing. So I'm curious to see what comes of this. Literally, I'm just scrolling through. I don't want to put up here for people's like private names and stuff like that, but I mean, literally, it's nothing but about Kaylee, which I think at the end of the day is going to be people's biggest issue, is because, again, whatever, regardless, she was found not guilty. Court of public opinion begs to differ, right? And we've never really heard any kind of logical accountability or any kind of like excuse, if you will. That's a bad word for it. Whether she's authentic and wanting to advocate for a population or not, I don't know. But I think that this just comes down to money. You know what I'm saying? Just always follow the money. So that's what's at the center of this. It's going to blow up for a second, meaning like get all out there. People are going to talk about it. People will probably like sign up left and right to say something directly to her. And so in this thing right here, she's going to probably be able to ride that for a minute, because trust me, there's a lot of hate comments. Now, am I here for reading through them? Please. You already know I was glued to the phone. Didn't even have to ask that twice. Like, I'm guilty, okay? 100%. I think that she'll disappear again soon, just the same way she did when she did the docuseries. She'll go away again, and then we'll hear about her again in a few months. She will never not be in the tabloids. It is what it is. When you somehow skate through the situation she did with her daughter and come out on the other side, you're never going to escape that, unless you maybe go to some, I don't know, some like random country that doesn't have TV, right? Or any kind of media or something like that, right? So that's it. Let me know what you think about it. I do appreciate you watching today. I'm sorry this is kind of a short video here. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section. And while you're down there, we'll go on and drop those whole sofas off for Rosco, for Bo and Luke, and the whole sofa squad. So we have a place to hang out, talk about Casey and show business and all the stuff we talk about here at the Sofa Squad. And until we meander on down there to do that, I'll see y'all soon.